What's going on, everybody? It's your boy PTK Blam back in the building with another episode of the Shop Podcast. How's everybody doing? Another beautiful Saturday. I want to thank everybody for coming out, joining us. This is like the year-end show, guys. 2018 is over, almost officially over. A couple of days to the year is over. It's going to be an amazing show. We got a brand new guest on the show. A little bit shorthanded today, but we're going to rock this thing. And before we go any further, I'm going to let the guest go ahead and announce himself and everything like that. I want to let you guys know about a couple things we're doing. If you didn't watch my last video, every Monday I will be putting out a question, a topic on Twitter. So all that links will be below to everybody here on the Shop Podcast. If you're not following me, follow me there to actually get the question on Mondays, and I will answer it on the actual podcast on Saturday as far as like the results of the actual poll. So we're going to go ahead and just roll it right over to our guest, man. I want to give a huge shout out to Ejax, man. This first time here, brother. I've been a big fan of yours. Shout out to Enrique, the BRAP podcast over there. They do big things. I'll make sure their link is below as well. But go ahead and give yourself a shout out, man.
Yeah, first let me say thank you guys so much for having me tonight. It's a real honor. Definitely rock with you guys. But yeah, I'm happy to be here to talk some games with you. And yeah, I'm EC Jackson from the Brat Podcast. Check us out on Wednesday nights. And just give a shout out to Enrique, Slow Mo, B Money of Tick fame,
What's up,
and Gaming Forte. So,
for sure. Oh yeah, glad to have you, E. It's funny because I've seen you on Twitter a bunch of times. I watched the show a bunch of times. I'm like, man, I want to get that guy on at some point. And finally made it happen. So it's glad to have you on, brother. As I tell all my guests, once you're on once, you're probably gonna be on again at some point. So don't be surprised if you get a DM from me, a random DM at a later date saying, "Hey, you want to join? Jump in the show?" Because once you
don't be afraid,
brother. Not a problem. And then we're gonna go ahead and move on to the Mr. Unassuming. Fuzzy, how you been doing? I know you've been hibernating, marinating over there, brother. So how you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. Voice is still a little scratchy from a couple of weeks ago, but yeah, I've been trying to level up as fast as I can in Assassin's Creed. Put Forza down for a little bit until they get that garage number lifted. But yeah, having fun playing games, having fun with the family over the holidays. Hope everybody had a wonderful holiday as well. Yeah, glad to be here. Glad to be here with the guests, and let's talk some games.
Let's get it. So hit that like button, guys, if you enjoy the actual show. Subscribe to the channel, guys. We're making a huge push. 2019 is going to be a big year for the podcast, guys. Got a lot of things coming, trying to do some background things to improve the podcast. If you guys want to give feedback, you can always hit me up on Twitter, with any feedback to help out the channel. Appreciate you guys so much. 2018 has been an amazing year. So let's not wait no longer, guys. Let's dive into this thing, okay? So first topic we talking about, man. I did actually a video about this a couple days ago. So 2018 is over, and based on what we know so far, I think 2019 may be the best gaming year this generation. Now, the reason I say that, before I'm gonna let you guys go, is I think that from top to bottom, what we know so far, we don't know everything that's coming out in 2019, but what we know so far, I don't think there's been a year that's been as stacked with quality games. I mean, most of the majority of the games that are coming, I mean, I'm having a real hard time juggling these things about what game to purchase, which not to purchase, because there's so many good games coming out that I don't know if we've had a generation that this jam-packed all the way throughout the year. On top of the fact that after post E3, we have no idea what's going on. Right. After E3, we have no. It may not be a PSX. We still don't know if that's going on. If there is, we don't know what they're going to show. This is the first time at E3 we have. It's just going to be Xbox. That's never happened. So who knows what's going to happen at E3 and after that. So I'm going to go ahead and start with you, E. What do you think about 2019 potentially being like the best gaming year of this generation?
Man, I mean, let's roll it back for a second. Let's talk 2017, how crazy that was. And we were thinking like, man, how does 2017 get topped? And then 2018 came in and just smacked it, right? And like you just said, 2019, bro, like I'm looking at everything that's coming out versus the backlog of stuff I still have to catch up on.
Yep.
And the wallet, and I'm like, I don't know how it's supposed to happen. I don't get it. I don't know where I'm finding the time. Got to make it happen somehow. But yeah, 2019 just looks ridiculous, and it's starting off like immediately. Yeah, which is even crazier. A lot of times we kind of have to wait till March, April. This thing is jumping off like right off the bat. So yeah. I don't know, man. 2017, 2018, 2019. immediately in those 3 years pretty much smashed almost any generation. I would say.
You think so? That far? I don't know about all that.
Okay, let me not say smashed every generation, but you said like, has there been a generation that's been as stacked?
Well, not a generation, but there's been a year this generation that's been stacked from 2013 till now. So
yeah. I'm not going to disparage past generations because, dude, I mean, come on,
yeah, that's tough.
yeah. I'm not going to go that far. Let me rephrase that. Yeah, I'll say it's just title after title, banger after banger is just nonstop. You know, we used to have some breaks in between. It's just been nonstop. You know. Yeah. So.
I think what you said also was a big point, that it's right away. It's not something that we're not waiting, like you said, till March. You know, we're not waiting. It's right away. Like how many? I mean, what February Anthem, Crackdown, Metro? Can I keep going?
Yeah.
You know, like it's ridiculous. You know, it's crazy that these games are coming out all at this, around the same time. Rage, then Days Gone. I think the following month. Like, oh my God, like it's crazy. So I think that, like, based on what we've seen so far, I mean, the only thing that I don't know if this year is going to have is that I guess you could say Gears is a Gears. I could put Gears up there. Gears is in the same echelon as like a God of War. I would say is a franchise, maybe not
absolutely
sales level or whatever the case may be, but it's right in the same echelon. They're in the same tier, I believe.
So I would think, not to cut you off, but I would think for this God of War, what the numbers did is what Gears has done. So no, it's definitely Gears is definitely like in the upper echelon of gaming for real.
Got it.
But we'd be remiss to forget Resident Evil 2 jumps off in January.
That's another thing. Yep.
January, yeah. So
I forgot. See, that's what I'm saying. That's why I think 2019 is going to be amazing, just because.
Oh yeah.
Like you said, I completely forgot that game. Devil May Cry. All these, I'm skipping over all these games because there's so much jam-packed stuff coming out. So that was a great opening. You wanted to finish up on that here? Can we go ahead and bounce this over to Fuzz? Okay, Fuzz. What do you think about that, man? 2019. I know you are very particular and meticulous about the games. You probably sit down with a flow chart and Microsoft Excel open trying to figure out your budget for next year. So what do you think about 2019, man?
I know that there's going to be a lot of unknowns as far as for Microsoft with after E3, because I know they're going to unveil some things that we don't even know if they're working on. But as far as what's already on the known list, Anthem is definitely a big one up there. That by itself would make it a decent year. And then being a Division fan, you got Division 2 coming out.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
You got Metro, you got Crackdown. I wonder if Days Gone is actually going to come out in 2019, but I'm still hoping it does. You also have that Walking Dead one. I know they made some changes. I don't know if as many people are looking forward to that one as much, but me being a zombie game fan, there's a new Walking Dead coming out. Rage 2, which that's a must buy.
Yep, absolutely.
Devil May Cry.
What else? I mean, we just
Sekiro.
Sekiro.
Sekiro's
another one. I had the list up. I closed the list before the show, but it is so many games. It's funny because when I went to Google, they had Control's another game as well that's coming out.
Yep.
They had a bunch of Ori. See, look, this is ridiculous. This is crazy. You guys see, chat? This is what we're talking about. This is
Code exactly why.
See. You want to take this is crazy. It's crazy, man. But I think honestly, the balance of the games and the quality of there's not a single game when I listed. I'm like, I don't want that game. There's not a single game that we just talked about. Then I'm like, you know what? I could pass on that. I'm cool. Like maybe when it comes, or if I have to make a decision, like one or the other, I'll probably pass because I'm not going to buy everything, obviously. But if I could, I definitely have every single one of them. There's not one that I'd be like, you know what? I don't even want that game at all. So you guys feel the same way about that as well?
Absolutely. Well, I tell you what, if you're not already doing game share, 2019 is a year to definitely look at.
Hey, you know what? I think I might even find a partner
type of thing. But and Game Pass, that's going to make it a lot easier too, because Crackdown's already in Game Pass, so Gears is going to be in Game Pass. So that saves a little bit there, but. Oh man!
I have a counter that Game Pass makes it harder when you have like gaming ADHD. It's just like what do I want to play? I don't know. There's times I sit there and I'm like, I'm taking a nap because I can't figure out what I want to do, and it just tires me out. So no. I mean, in a good way. It's just it adds more to your the backlog is ridiculous.
Yeah, we were just talking about that pregame. We just first world problems. We were just talking about that pregame, guys, about the backlog, just the balance of the new games and the old games. It's just crazy. But I just think 2019, and then you guys haven't really touched on the fact that E3 and then after E3, it's literally we don't know what's going on at E3 and then afterwards. So what do you guys think about that particular portion coming up to E3 and then post E3?
I'll jump in, because you actually did mention that, and I did want to touch on that. This is, I know some people are like kind of thinking of in terms like, well, Sony's not doing E3, and that's kind of crazy because we're used to having them there, right?
Yeah.
I kind of have a different take on it, where for both, for Microsoft and Sony, it's like I'm excited because for once it's different. It's not somewhat predictable. Like we know they're going to be there, we're going to show some stuff, and then we're going to have that debate going back and forth on who won, right?
Yeah.
I'm kind of the person that likes some things shaken up. Like I like some things that kind of flow differently. And by them kind of pulling out, it kind of breaks the tradition. But which one are we going to do? Are we going to sit and say E3 isn't what it used to be? Or are we going to kind of want E3 to stay the same as it was, right?
Got it.
So by them kind of saying, well, we're not going to be there, how does that change Microsoft's strategy and how they want to present and what they want to do? Which again,
it's more questions than answers about what they did.
And I like that. I kind of like that.
Yeah, but it depends on, like you said, you're looking at it from a different standpoint of the angle that, look, I don't mind the shakeup. I like change. Things are happening. We did for a while there. We did complain. A couple of people, not me, but a few people complained about E3 kind of dying. Some people were saying it was kind of going by the wayside. Everybody was pulling out, which is, if you look at the numbers, actually is still by far the biggest gaming event on Earth. By far, not even close. It dwarfs PSX. It dwarfs even Gamescom as far as like viewers, not the amount of people that go to the event. And it's a public event now. It used to be just press. I don't know if you guys all know that, but
and I think
that's gaming media. So
I think that aggravates people who we know in media. They're like, they can't get to things.
Lines are 3 hours long, that kind of stuff. But I'm coming from the standpoint that if you look at Sony, you look at what they have. They've played the majority of their cards at this point.
Right.
So what they have left. Ghost of Tsushima. What am I missing here? Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us 2, and Death Stranding. I think the only one realistically, now this would surprise me, but this is why 2019 is going to be so fun. I think the only thing realistically coming out next year is probably Death Stranding. And I think that they're going to say something about that. I don't think Last of Us is very close to 2019. I don't think Ghost of Tsushima is close to 2019 either. So
if I had to pick out of those, I would probably say I would agree with you on Death Stranding is a definite possibility. Ghost, I'm stretching a possibility. Last of Us 2, not at all. That's not happening.
The problem, though, and the reason why I say that is because there's 0 release dates, and we've seen these games multiple times. Well, except Tsushima, we've seen that once. Ghost of Tsushima, we've seen that one time. But we've seen Death Stranding a bunch of times. Then we've seen Last of Us. Was that the first time? No. Was this past E3 the first time we seen it?
Second E3.
Second E3, right? So no release dates, no coming soon, no any of that. That's not traditional. That's not, you know what I'm saying? If it's coming 2 years or sooner, that's not usually you're throwing out, it's coming soon, 2019, something like that. You don't usually, very rarely does that happen. I think Bethesda did that, I think, with the last, not Fallout 76, but Fallout 4. They announced it at E3 and then put it out like 2 months later. But I don't know how many, studios are actually still doing that. But Fuzz, what do you think about the whole fact that, after E3 and, during E3, how has that changed 2019 for you?
Well, I know we still have the elephant in the room that we haven't even talked about, which is going to be Cyberpunk. I don't know what the date on that is.
Yep.
But
oh God, if that comes out next year, Jesus, I'm sorry. You know what? Because if that comes out, I love Gears, I really do, and I wouldn't put that down. But go ahead, Fuzzy. I just don't even want to think about it right now. Go ahead.
No, but Cyberpunk could be one of those that kind of surprises us and makes an appearance in 2019, although I'm kind of thinking it's maybe 2020, but Sony's definitely got a release days going. I know they pushed the release date all the way to like a placeholder in December of 2019, but that's going to probably make an appearance. Like Sony is the type of company where even though they're not doing E3, I wouldn't be surprised if they make the actual release date announcement for Days Gone on that date, or at least when E3 starts.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they said they weren't doing anything even around E3. That whole event, they weren't having anything going on. But once again, that's media talk. They could be planning a bunch of stuff. So who knows?
Yeah, they've gone so kind of wild card, like on how they kind of go about things. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think God of War got their announced in January, and the game came out in April.
Yeah,
so I think both companies have kind of learned from announcing things too early.
They had a PSX that year. They haven't had a PSX in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
So there was no prequel. There was actually, I don't know if did they show PSX at that the not PSX. They showed God of War at the PSX before God of War came out. Was it previewed at the PSX that year, or do you remember it all?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think it was there. No, I think they showed The Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And because I think what we had heard is like early, like 2017 was, or something around that fact. They said, God of War was playable. Like they were still working on it, but the bill was pretty much playable, and so people started speculating around that. But they didn't announce when it was releasing until like January, and the release date was in April. So they can still kind of do that when it comes to like Days Gone and all, not Days Gone, but like some of the other games. And like again, the fact that we don't know and it's not predictable, it's exciting.
It's exciting.
It gets us talking, right? It's like So, and again, this not being an E3 could blow up in their face, or it could be kind of setting some foundations for some other things. And I like the fact that they're kind of playing with dynamite.
It's gonna be an amazing 2019. So chat, that was also for you guys. So anytime here on the show, you guys make sure you answer those questions as well. So let's go ahead and keep moving. That was a great first topic to kind of get us warmed up, work up a little bit of sweat. So we're going to go ahead and keep that thing moving. Make sure as you follow and hit that like button, guys, it helps the show be seen, helps the podcast be seen. Thank you guys so much for the continued support here. So let's keep going. And this is a fun one. So this is something I do pretty normally, E. I know we do these podcasts. We talk about a lot of the same things. Let's be honest. We cover a lot of the same news.
Right.
We don't really switch things up all that much. You hear one show, you probably heard the topics for the next 10 shows, for the week or whatever the case may be. But I like to throw in wrinkles, little things different to kind of get people talking. So the next thing, I actually stole this. I'll be honest with you. I stole this. I was looking at it. It's not the exact way they put the question, but it's similar.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to have fun with this. So which superhero deserves their own video game the most? So we've coming off these. This has probably been the most successful generation for superhero games. I mean, we've only had really Spider-Man was huge. Was there any other one this generation? I don't think there was any other. Well, and then we got the new Ultimate Alliance coming up. We forgot all about that on the Switch as well. That's 2019 as well.
Add that to the list, right?
Add that to the list, exactly. So this is kind of like not Superman, but a video game renaissance almost as far as that goes. So which superhero do you guys think deserves their game the most?
But do you want to jump in there first?
I'm trying to think as far as like the one I would prefer to see, as well as one that probably deserves it most. I think the overall fan favorite and probably one that would do extremely well, although we're pretty much getting something similar to that, would be Iron Man. Anthem. Yep. I know everybody says, "Oh, Anthem's going to be Iron Man." Do as your own role.
I haven't heard that one.
But I there's other superheroes I would like to see over Iron Man, but I think overall that would probably go over well as far as from a sales standpoint and just being well received. If done right, they could make it where that game could have a long-standing series, very much like what Batman did, going from PS3 and 360 up to this generation and stuff, where I think this generation we still had Arkham Knight or something like that. Or I think that was this gen. But I'm thinking Iron Man of all of them right now.
He's on my list too.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it would be interesting. Iron Man would be a great game. I'm still on a Black Panther train as well. I think that would be an interesting game. I don't know how they would pull that off, but I think it'd be very interesting. Wonder Woman, the chat said as well. Shout out to Other Zeke. He said Wonder Woman. I think Wonder Woman would be great. Now, the obvious elephant in the room is Superman. We all know that. But and we're gonna get a Superman. Somebody wasn't there somebody supposed to be working on Superman? A Superman game?
Yeah,
there's the rumor. there's the rumor that Rocksteady is doing something with that. I mean, there's no confirmation, but
okay.
That's that's another thing to talk about. Fascinated with, because how do you balance Superman?
Yeah, because it's but how do you build a world around that character? He can do anything,
right? And I know without everybody having a kryptonite gun. And I know some people say you can do magic. He's susceptible to that. There's different ways you can do it. If they kind of do like the animated series way, because remember, like he would take a hit and it kind of like rattled him a little bit depending on who hit him. Yeah. But again, he was still OP.
Yeah,
he's shake it off and be like, I'm back in the game.
Exactly. As long as he's standing in the sun, he'll be fine.
Exactly. Hey, maybe. Yeah. Hey, maybe they go the what was the arc with it was the one where Lex Luthor kind of figured out if I oversaturate him with sun, it's like too much of a good thing to kill anybody, right? I can't remember the name of the book, but he basically he gave him he overexposed him to the sun and they started killing him.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe you do something like that. Maybe you do the red sun where you block it out a bit. Who knows?
It would definitely have to be a scenario pulled from the comic book. It says, like you said, something like that, or something that's happened in a comic. Maybe the Doom. Maybe the whole. I don't know how they would pull it off. Because what kind of game would it be? Would it be a single player story driven game, kind of like Spider-Man, where you try and build this world that he can kind of play in, or do you build like a single player, more like linear game that you still allow players to feel like they have this freedom, but they really don't? They're kind of guided, to an objective. I don't. That Superman's a tough character because, like you said, his powers make him really hard to, build a video game around.
Right.
It's hard to realistically build a video game around because he can just the entire map you're looking at, he could destroy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like so it's difficult to balance, and you can't just
how do you handle flight?
Exactly. Like that's not even the biggest issue. Like you said, I think the enemies that would be the biggest. I mean, you could have him flying around and getting shot by thugs on the street, like Spider-Man, getting hit with crowbars and falling off out the air. That would be ridiculous. So that's
because Superman, Spider-Man and Batman make sense fighting thugs, right? Yeah. Because they're susceptible to that. They can damage them. Superman flies down, flick, and then the guy throws the gun at him.
It's the shortest game in video game history.
Right. You go right to the final boss. It's a wrap,
Yeah, it's a wrap. So, So what do you think about that, Fuzz? I mean, I know you said Iron Man would be your top choice.
Yeah, only because of the flying aspect and that he is vulnerable. Like I was thinking, as far as if you're going to do a Superman game, and this is going to be a complete twist, you would almost have to make it where the player is in control of the enemies and able to level them up with some sort of ability, whether centers around kryptonite or trying to do like what you were saying with Lex Luthor did with the oversaturating them with the sun. It's almost like you'd have to play duck and cover until you get to a certain level.
Wouldn't that piss off the fan base though? If you depowered Superman, I mean, I get it, if it's even though it's part of an actual storyline, I know there'll be so many people what the hell are you doing to Superman? Even if it was intentional, even if that was part of his character and his actual comic book story, I think once they tried to do that, the first time he got hit with something regular and it hurt Superman, people be throwing that controller this is stupid. I'm out of here. I'm taking this game back.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think you might have to put him up against something like Zod's army.
Yeah,
Zod
maybe
invaded
somewhere else, a different planet, maybe. I don't know, something I don't know, because you couldn't put him on Earth. It wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, exactly. Here, exactly. What you gonna do? What are they gonna do to him here?
Yeah, throw water at him. I'm not sure. Well, it's funny because in the comics, Thanos has been handcuffed before. The police arrested Thanos in the comics. I don't know if you guys ever know that.
No.
He's been arrested by New York City police. Go to Google when we get done with the show. If anybody don't believe me, look it up. It's a real comic. He was arrested by New York City police in handcuffs. They put him in the back of the car.
There's nothing New York finest can't do.
Exactly. They're OP as hell. So maybe we can put him in New York. Maybe Superman in New York. We can just get the cops to handcuff him. They seem to have these ultimate iron Infinity Gauntlet handcuffs. I don't know
right
what's going on, but cool, man.
Well, so if you'll indulge me, I might have a few to throw at you. Because I do think about this from time to time, what could make a good. Okay, I had this conversation some time ago with some people on Twitter. it kind of blew my mind. Credit, to another follower who kind of brought it to my attention, but a Doctor Strange game in the vein of like The Witcher. Because you can play with the RPG elements, you got magical elements, you got all these different, you got like dimensions that you can visit.
I can see that. I forgot all about Doctor Strange too.
Different things like that. So I think done the right way. And shout out to Anchorman. He actually said, and what if you also based it in like the 70s? Like the 70s version of Doctor Strange. I was like, it has endless possibilities. You could definitely rock with that, right? And then another I kind of thought about was after playing Infamous First Light, I don't know if you guys got a chance to play that. I was like, yo, they can do a Flash game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because the Flash isn't OP. He's fast. He's the abilities will work in that. And you can definitely have skill trees and things like that. But he's not he's not infallible. Like he can be shot. He can be,
Yeah.
You can play with that, right?
That's a good point. Yeah, Flash would be really cool. I don't know how you. I mean, the speed though. That's his claim to fame. That's his ability. So I don't know. Like you said, I don't know how pulling that off in game, because I mean, he's supposed to be the Flash. So
right.
you could have him running around. Like I don't know how that would work. Like maybe you can have some type of. I don't know. Maybe I know what you could do. You can have him like maybe you can have a bar where you tap into the Speed Force, and as the bar fills up, you're able to like go into some kind of Speed Force where everything else is in like maybe slow mo or something, and you're just moving. I don't know how it would work, but that'd be a cool idea.
Yeah, I think you can play with that. Then one other thought I had was, what if you had, especially in this world, we kind of have like split characters. You look at like what was done with Assassin's Creed Odyssey, what was done with Syndicate. You could have like a Harley and Joker game, right?
I know Fuzz. That's right down Fuzzy alley. I heard you over there moaning. He's like,
But the objective is, you're put into the boots of the bad guys.
Yeah.
So you're taking on like different syndicates that you're taking over, and you have to fight, and bosses, characters like Batman. Like you are the bad guys. So you're doing all the things Joker and Harley would do, causing mayhem, anarchy, and facing the Batman and facing other, maybe other heroes, maybe low-level heroes or whatever the case may be.
What do you think about that, Fuzz? A Joker game? Would you buy that?
Yeah, I think it would sell. It's Batman fans would probably be upset about it, but still, somebody's eventually going to have to do a bad guy game.
Right.
It's bound to happen at some point, and I think it'll probably surprise them when they see how well it does. But I think having Batman as like the end boss,
that would be crazy.
That works. Because you can make it where it doesn't necessarily have a finale where you kill Batman. You just down him, and then it ends where you're standing over him type of thing. But it doesn't give. It's almost like what they did with Injustice 2. You would never see like the superhero die. It's like they would lay down and then they would get up and like take a knee or something, because
I
think they were afraid that like if a little kid plays it, they're like, oh no, Superman's dead. But it was one of those things where they at least made it so that you could still see that they're living and breathing type of deal at the end of a fight. But I'd be all for that.
Yeah, because you just think about some of the weaponry like the Joker uses, and Harley's like the big gag guns, the big hammer. Just you can have fun with it, but also you can have like a serious dark tone.
The only game, and shout out to not Telltale, but the other people that make the Lego games. What's the people that make the Lego? I can't think of the studio off the top of my head. But anyway, that's the only game that lets you be like villains, like as far as like Marvel villains and things like that. You can be the Joker and all of that. But I could definitely see a Joker game, like you said, maybe bouncing between Harley and Joker, or maybe even be able to use them, I don't know, simultaneously or somehow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe you can control one to a certain point, and you have to control another one to get to a certain area. Whatever the case may be, they have different abilities. That would be pretty cool. And shout out to Big Ed. He said a Teen Titans game.
Oh, I'd be all over that.
Yeah. You be down for a team. I'm a big Teen Titans fan as well, so I would definitely. Oh, Traveler's Tale. Thanks, Invader. He said Traveler's Tale is the people that do all the Lego games. So
okay, yep,
yeah, sure, cool. All right, man.
Titans game could be dope too.
Yeah,
think about it. Yeah.
That'll work, man. Okay, cool. So let's keep this thing moving. So as you guys filing once again, hit that like button. Thank you guys for the support. Shout out to Big Ed. I never seen you here, boy, but thank you showing up, man. You appreciate your views and your eyeballs. Thank you for and your ears too. Appreciate you listening. So let's go ahead and move on. And this is kind of a fun one. Now the year is ending. And as gamers, we always have reservations. We come to this point, the end of the year, the new year is starting. We're getting our lists, seeing what's coming out, and we start kind of. I don't know about you guys, but at least I started thinking about some of the things I'm going to do different next year as far as gaming. Maybe I'll play less, play a little more, do this, do that. I want to see you guys. What you guys have as far as like gaming New Year's resolutions? Since New Year's is like 2 days from now, 2-3 days. So I'm gonna start with you again, E. Do you have any resolutions next year? Anything you're gonna be doing more in gaming? Anything you're changing?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to succeed in kind of where I failed this year in a resolution, and that's try to get. Well, I shouldn't say fail. It just depends on how you look at it. Interact more with gamers who I'm rocking with, like on Xbox, PlayStation, as far as parties and doing more multiplayer, because it's just kind of tough at times because I play mostly single player games.
Yeah.
And we talked earlier before we came on, time is a lot of times of the essence, right?
Yeah.
So, when I'm done with work, get the family to bed, I go to game and I'm playing a single player game. Like I'm laser focused because I only have so much time, and then somebody may hit me for a party chat and I can't get in or whatever. So I kind of want to engage more, playing a little more multiplayer, engaging more with, with friends online and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. Any gaming buying habits you're going to be changing or doing anything different as far as purchasing games? Or
yeah. I did that again beginning of the year. If you kind of go down my games played list this year, it's not really like a whole lot of quantity. It's mostly like about quality, because I said there were so many games I've been sitting on for a while.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't go through this year without finishing it. And one was like The Witcher 3.
Oh, yep.
And I rock with that for months. And sadly, that kind of comes to the detriment of other stuff that's coming out, like newer stuff, and you fall a little bit more behind on like what's current. But it is what it is. It's like, there's great games sitting in my backlog. I'm like, I gotta play these games and rock with them. So I'm trying to, curb like my spending, because you know how it is. Dude, you see something on sale, you're like, I'm copping it. It's like, I don't know if I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna have time. I'm gonna cop it. Luckily, things like Game Pass kind of have
Godsend. I don't call it Game Pass anymore. It's called Godsend.
That helps with that, and it kind of makes you go, okay, I'm gonna hold off on that, because maybe by the time I get around to playing it, it will be in Game Pass. And it's not really a saving money thing. It's more of like I don't want to keep buying things and have it just sit there and I never really get to it. So if it's in Game Pass, you don't feel as guilty. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. Yeah. So a lot of my games this year, like I told you earlier, were bigger games. Like, I went back, I finished Breath of the Wild at the beginning of the year. And then I played, God of War, I played Spider-Man, did those. And then I spent like a lot of time at the end of the year with Red Dead Redemption. And like we talked about, a lot of these games are time-consuming commitment games. And those are a lot of games in my backlog. So the resolution, again, is to try to finish up some of the backlog, go back to those games that I missed that were considered great games. They may not be 2018, 2019 games. And again, that comes at the detriment, but it is what it is.
Got it. Okay, cool. You know what? The funny thing about that is that we all have that backlog problem. We all do. That's a gamer first world problem. You don't get around the games. You start a game, don't finish it, get stuck, whatever the case may be. Then new games come out, and then you kind of get caught up in that. So I think that's kind of a reoccurring resolution for all of us. We can pretty much all say that. So for me, for at least in the gaming aspect, I, like you said, engaging more, playing with different people more on online, and because I haven't done that as much this year because during the 360, during that generation, I was always online playing in party chats all the time. And since this generation started, each year has gone by, I've started to do less and less of that, like be in a party chat, hanging out, doing things like that, just interacting with people. And I'll get on and I'll play. A lot of times me and my wife are playing together, or me and my son, or whatever the case may be. But maybe doing a little bit more of that as well. So for me, that's about the only thing. I'm going to be a little bit more I don't know, maybe decisive about the games that I actually want, start pre-ordering games ahead of time, planning for certain things financially. If I really, really want a game, maybe, because sometimes there's like collector's editions even, and I'm looking at like, man, I'd like to have that like collector's edition. It's been a while since I bought something like that. So
like that Resident Evil 2 one.
Yeah, crazy. So I love it, but that for me, that's gonna be my resolutions for next year. What about you, Fuzz? I know you probably got a few over there.
Definitely attack that backlog a little bit better than I have this year. I started off where I was going to play all the games that's on my backlog at least like once a weekend or something like that, and kind of fell behind as I fell in like with Forza Motorsport 7 and then Horizon 4 and then Division 2 is coming out, so I know that's going to be a lot of time there. But I'm definitely cutting back on buying games either on pre-order or before launch that I know I won't possibly get to until they're probably either on sale or in Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
Like most of the games that I bought over the past couple of years wind up in Game Pass by the time I'm ready to play them. So it's like, I could have put that towards a different game. But,
or they're in gold. You're like, games where you're like, right.
But that's definitely a goal to try to make a bigger or take a bigger chunk out of the backlog. Also, do more online gaming, but it's probably going to be more so on like Division and Anthem. I know those are going to be my online pretty much all the time type games.
Mm-hmm.
Although I got to figure out which one I'm going to play more of, but it's going to be tough. And then I think about the only other thing I'm going to try to figure out the streaming thing and put some actual effort into it. Like right now, it's just like, oh yeah, influence points for Forza, but I'm gonna give it a try as far as having like a layout and I guess OBS or something like that, and go from there. And I definitely need to get a PC because trying to do some of this stuff on a Macs are great, but for whatever reason, I still can't figure out something that can edit the Xbox One X 4K 60 stuff. So the codec on that is just nothing on Mac I have as far as the software I have now can edit it or view it. So it's like I'm gonna have to build a PC now. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Put more into streaming, more online gaming, and definitely attack that backlog a bit more.
Cool. Yeah. So you know what? The funny thing is, you brought up streaming. Streaming is another one for me as well. My sons wanted to get into that. I have. Even my wife has wanted to stream as well. So that's something that I want to get into as well. And that, but like you said, hardware, got to get it. I'm going to get a PC as well, desktop. Something that I can do that. And I'm comfortable with doing. I have a good setup, so I'm not worried about the hardware part. But yeah, I got to do the same thing, and because I want to start streaming too, and I find streaming to be like really really cool. Like it's not YouTube, but you can directly interact with people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and you can get direct feedback while playing games and watching. So it's really, really, really cool, and that's definitely something in 2019 I want to start taking advantage of and doing more too.
I thought about that. I thought about it too. Actually, yeah, it's just about more engaging, and even if like changing habits, like in social media, like as far as like Twitter or whatever. Like a long time ago, I stopped engaging. I've never actually really engaged in console war per se. Like I would kind of put a thought out there. Or I kind of have like get into a debate or argument with somebody, and I don't have that energy.
Got it.
To kind of waste on it. Like I'd rather make some jokes. I'd rather laugh with people. I'd rather, just have like a deep conversation, and that can be hard because you're kind of having a conversation and then it goes left because someone decided to jump in and make a console war thing. And it's like, so I'm definitely trying to engage more with people who kind of understand that.
Got it.
Kind of just want to keep it 100 because like there's nothing that you can say to me gaming wise that's going to trigger me.
Yeah.
Whatever your preference, whatever you're feeling, whatever you like, I kind of look at it like I can learn something from you as long as we keep it respectful.
Yeah.
That's kind of my only thing. Like if we get personal, then that's different. But you're not going to hurt my feelings if you say, nah, I didn't care for that. Or, or I prefer this or I prefer that's fine. Maybe you can learn something from me. I can learn something from you.
Yeah.
So I definitely caution people, like try to go about the community that way. And there's definitely a lot more gamers in the community who are trying to just keep it above boards and say, hey man, at the end of the day, we all share this common thing.
Yeah.
Gaming, so
the funny thing about that is that I 100% agree with you. But the only drawback is that anything that's where there's, competitiveness, anything that drives that or has that kind of energy behind it, because whether we like it or not, this is a competition. Business competition for Xbox, Microsoft, Nintendo. It's a competition, whether they want it to be or not. It is. That's just the way everything works. So And it works that way with everything else. So I think that the competition part. I don't mind some of the console war stuff because I think it's necessary sometimes to get people talking. I think sometimes it's necessary, but when, like you said, going too far, that's a whole another situation.
Yeah, goofing and clowning all day long. Like we can goof and clown all day. We've all done that. We have friends that's what we used to do. Like, oh man, that game is trash. I don't know why you're talking about that. You know, that's fine. That's fun. Let's do that. But like you said, when it gets too personal and people are getting blocked and people are getting, reported, and it's like, what are y'all doing? Come on.
Yeah, it can be crazy. You know, the funny thing is that the good thing is that you're on this podcast. We don't do that. You don't see a whole lot of that over here. We take jabs and we go back and forth a little bit, but we have a lot of fun here, man. Have a whole lot of fun. Keep it gaming. That's what it's all about. So that was our New Year's resolutions as far as gaming, guys. What we're doing in 2019. Let us know in the chat as well if you guys have any New Year's resolutions for gaming. Maybe you guys are gonna tweak what you're doing now. Maybe completely overhaul what you're doing. Just let us know. Let us know. I like to have fun with this. So now on to the actual Twitter poll, man. I put this poll out yesterday, but yesterday, and I want to go over that with you guys. I'm gonna discuss the results of the poll, and we're gonna dive right into this bad boy. Let me pull it up real quick, guys. I do apologize. I should have had it already pulled up. All right, let me grab it here. Oh, here we go. So put out a poll yesterday. It said, essentially, if you only had $65 to spend on a game for the whole year, what game would it be? Now, the polls received almost 600 votes in almost not even a full day, or about a full day. So, and the winner of that poll, Gears is number one, Gears 5 at 45%. So I don't think that was a huge surprise. And then Anthem was actually kind of close, 38%. So Anthem wasn't that far behind. Then Distant, third, Rage at 9%, and then fourth, Days Gone at 8%. So that kind of went down the way I thought it would. I didn't actually think Anthem. I thought Gears would have a bigger lead over Anthem. It actually ended up being really close with that amount of votes. So we're going to go ahead and just discuss the results, guys. So based on that poll, would you guys agree with that? Would that be the order in which you guys would buy those 4 games? We're going to start with you, E.
What was that number on Rage again?
9%. So 9% of the people that voted would buy Rage. If you had $65 to spend on one game for the whole year, what game out of these 4 would it be? So Rage 2 was third, behind Anthem and Gear. Well, Gears first, Anthem second, Rage 2, then Days Gone.
Yeah, I had to say honestly, that'd probably be how it would shake out. For me, even though I don't know, I might put Rage above Anthem again because, like I said, I tend to rock more single player, right?
Got it. Okay.
And I was a little skeptical about Anthem, but the more I've seen, the more I'm coming around to it.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Man, I was looking at stream last week. I was like,
oh my God.
Yeah. I'm gonna pull back on my skepticism on Anthem. It's tough, man, because I look at Rage, I'm just like,
it looks so good.
So. But yeah, I'm gonna rock with how the poll fell out pretty much the right way. I would definitely, and I know we talked earlier, like with Gears 5 being in Game Pass, it's like, can I play that in Game Pass first and still use the rest of the money to pick up something else?
Yeah, I didn't predict the loophole when I put the poll together. I didn't even realize it until like the first 2 people messaged me underneath. I'm like, oh crap, I completely spaced that Gears was a first party game and that doesn't even count. But yeah, so just imagine Gears wasn't in Game Pass. Kind of put it that way. Imagine it wasn't in Game Pass.
Right. So, yeah, I would definitely pick up Gears 5 and then probably Anthem, then Rage, then Days Gone. Yeah, that would be my order.
Okay, cool. So for me, you know what? It's even closer than that for me because the more and more I see an Anthem, like I'm watching streams, YouTube, it looks so good. The world looks so good. Like, oh my goodness, it's so difficult. I mean, I know what I'm getting with Gears. I'm getting quality up and down. The twist this year with Gears 5, new character, new direction, that interests me. I'd give Gears still a nod just because of the history behind. I know the story. Right. I'm already invested in the characters. I don't know what's going on in Anthem just yet. It's going to be new. It's a shiny new toy essentially. But you got old Betsy in the yard. She's still running. All she needs is a tune-up. And that's what Gears is, you know what I'm saying? So I think I'd still go Gears 1, Anthem a close second, man, a very close second. And and then Rage 2, Rage 2 is tough too because that's another game that Fuzzy, have I not been talking about Rage 2 for like?
Oh yeah,
since E3. I think it's gonna, because of where it's at. I'm not sure if it's gonna get the, especially if Anthem does what I think it's gonna do. I don't know if people are gonna have the time to put towards Rage 2, and I hope it doesn't get lost in the shuffle. It's in a great month in May. I don't know what's coming out in May, but I don't think it's much coming out in May. So it's kind of on its own. It's in a good spot where it's gonna get its own shine. And then Days Gone, obviously, we don't even know. They've moved the placeholder. You said it was a placeholder, right? They pushed it to December, so they moved it from February to the following month, and then they moved that from that month to the placeholder date. So we have no idea, and that's the distant force for me. So it's on you, Fuzz. What do you got, man? What would you get? That order?
Now, see, when I did the voting on the poll, I picked Anthem only because I already have Game Pass. So I actually voted the way based on Gears 5 being, in Game Pass type of thing, but it's a tough call. Although I have to reveal the fraud in me. I suck at Gears Online. Like the single player aspect of it, love it.
Yeah, I'm not good at Gears.
The story's good, but I'm terrible at the online. Like I'm so used to like the controls in the Division. So from moving from cover to cover, I feel like I'm out of place, and I wind up getting shotgunned all the time. So I'll be honest. It'd be a tough call when it comes to the multiplayer between the two, but yeah, the way the poll is, if it wasn't in Game Pass, I would more than likely wind up picking it up.
Mm-hmm.
And then Anthem would be a close second. And then when you look at Rage 2, I so wanted a Mad Max 2. Just the colors, the fire, the crashing of the cars and whatnot, and then the almost like Batman type hand-to-hand stuff. I'm looking forward to Rage 2 as well. But like you said, with it coming out later in the year, it's going to have its own spot. But yeah, if I only had 65 in pocket, that is a tough poll. And
don't forget,
being a zombie fan, Days Gone is another one. It's like I've been waiting for Days Gone forever. Like to finally have a World War Z horde type of thing chasing you to the deal where you have to, if you run out.
There's actually a World War Z game coming out though.
Yeah, but I think it's more of like a tactics type thing. Although, some parts of it looks like you're basically just shooting the horde until you're either out of bullets or that's the end of the horde. But I think it's kind of also supposed to be like not really RTS, but like more of where you have to reinforce the walls and reinforce the guns and things like that. So I don't know how that's going to play.
Kind of like a fort tower defense kind of situation where you just gotta kind of stave off the waves and then refortify wherever you're at, and then the next wave comes, maybe kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So and it's not that I'm not a fan of those games, but I just want like endless zombies that I can either just set on fire, drop a trap on, shoot them, improvise weapons, things like that. Like to me, that's fun.
Let's not forget Lewis L. Shout out to you. He said MK11 too. Forgot about Mortal Kombat.
Yep.
Yeah.
So here we are, back to square one. Anyway, go ahead, Fuzz.
Goddamn fighting games. Yeah.
Man, you keep killing us, chat. Every time you guys drop one we forgot, man, we go right back to the drawing board. So yeah, but go ahead and finish, Fuzz, man.
No, that if you were to add Mortal Kombat to it, I know I would probably spend more hours playing that between me playing my kids and just playing against the computer and stuff like that. So that one might jump to the top. Big into fighting games, although I didn't pick up Tekken this generation. I just went with Dragon Ball FighterZ and Street Fighter V. Although that ads thing, I haven't turned anything on since they talked about it. But that's another story. But yeah,
damn guys, and don't forget Wolfenstein Youngblood comes out sometime this year in 2019.
Look, see. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah. And see, that's the thing. It's like, I'm not too surprised, like Rage 2, where the percentage fell in the poll, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the weird thing. It's like, I'm not like a big Fallout or Oblivion fan, like Bethesda proper. Yeah. I like all their published stuff, like Bethesda Softworks stuff, like, Dishonored, Wolfenstein, Doom. All outside of Doom, all the games that kind of get ignored.
Yeah,
sales wise, and I'm like, why are these games being ignored? They're so good.
Dishonored is super underrated. Dishonored is really underrated.
Yeah,
that and Prey. Like
Prey as well. Prey is another.
And Prey is on my backlog. I'm trying to get to it. Actually, I didn't get to Evil Within 1 or 2. I'm actually playing Evil Within now. Like I said, I'm just trying to spend the rest of December and first part of January kind of catching up on those Bethesda Softworks games I missed. Because I love those games. Because Wolfenstein 2 was one of my favorite games this year.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just, I hope Rage 2 like get some shine, but I won't be surprised if it doesn't, because for some reason, like I said, if it's not Fallout or Oblivion, some of those other games just kind of get, you know, ignored for some reason.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So shout out to Jay Fonzarelli, my guy, popped in here. Appreciate you, Jay, for stopping in as well. Man. He said Anthem being a looter shooter is going to take up a lot of people's time, which I tend to agree.
Yeah.
Like I said, right underneath that, I said, you know, if it ends up being what I think it's going to be, it's going to take up a whole lot of people's time. And you know what the funny thing, the interesting thing about Anthem is that this is coming. We don't know what's going on with Destiny after 2. Like, we don't know what they're doing. We don't know when the next one's going to be announced. I mean, Sony's not doing it this E3. And Sony has that deal, correct, with Anthem. So, not Anthem, but Destiny. That's a Sony deal. So, they're not going to be. So, are we not going to see Destiny 3 or whatever next Destiny? Oh, you know what? I think there's going to be. Is there going to be more DLC for 2? I think I heard
more. There's more DLC coming, but I mean, Katia, you hit on something, because it kind of seems like there's a little shaky ground between Activision and Bungie.
Yeah.
When it comes to
Activision wasn't happy with the sales of Forsaken.
Right. So who knows?
At all.
So who knows? You know, and Destiny 2 is pretty much where I've spent most of my multiplayer time this year.
Yeah.
You know, so
at this point, the Destiny fatigue is kicking in. New Year is early, January, February starting to kick in. And I don't know when. Do you know when that DLC is planning on? Have they said when it's going to be dropping? I haven't heard anything.
They haven't given an official release date. And
but that opens the window for Anthem. That opens the window for Anthem to come in and say, "Well, this is going to scratch that looter shooter itch for a lot of people."
Yeah, and if they can do something different, because I think, again, you know, the only thing that can pull people away is if you really deliver on something different and you do it in a kind of a flawless way. Yeah. And, you know, and I know when it comes to like the looter shooter, sometimes the beginning can be a little bit rocky. Yeah. But what we've seen of Anthem so far, like I said, just looks brilliant, right? But if they can figure out how to mix that looter shooter, you know, feel, but with that BioWare DNA of storytelling, man, they could be onto something special. Yeah.
And I think and people like to make that comparison between Anthem and Destiny, but I think the advantage Anthem has is that it has a clean palette.
Right.
It has a clean palette to build from. And even though a lot of people say they're similar in ways, I don't really think they're similar all that much. And when you look at the way the game is played, like the only thing similar is they're both science fiction. That's it. Yeah. That's the only thing similar. So the way the world in Anthem, I'm not breaking any NDAs. I didn't get into the actual like alpha. So
right.
It looks crazy.
I didn't either.
What I've seen from the streams, if you have not, please go check out. There's a ton of footage on Anthem. They've streamed it, multiple times, as well as other YouTubers. Has a ton of footage. So go watch it. Not just the E3 footage. There's a lot more than that. So if you haven't seen any of the other footage, go check it out on YouTube. You're gonna be surprised. There's a lot more layers to that game than I initially thought. I thought, okay, Destiny, it's going to be similar. Looter, you're going to be able to do this, that, similar to Destiny. It's a lot more layers. It's like an onion, just peeling back. Every time I see it, it peels back something different, The boss fights, all the other little things. There's an actual lore behind the world, which that's what drew me into Destiny was the lore. That's why I love Destiny, even though the first one and the second one have been run through the ringer at this point. But I enjoy Destiny because I'm interested in the characters, the backstory of the different factions. That's what drew me into Destiny. So if Anthem can do that and do that really well, I think that's going to pull people away from Destiny, with being the fact that we're not really getting anything new from Destiny. You're going to get some DLC, but it's still Destiny 2. It's still the same thing. So Anthem is a shiny new car, brand new coat of paint. So
it's got that thing that both games that people kind of like, right? You want to be a badass in whatever you're in, right? Yeah. So Destiny, I always kind of like joke that Destiny allows people to be a badass Boba Fett. Just from like how you look and the presentation and how you look, and that the gunplay is like unmatched. I mean, it still has that Bungie DNA of gunplay. And granted, while it's not for everybody, there's something, if it does speak to you, it hooks you, right?
Guess what we forgot?
What's that?
Outer Worlds.
Oh yeah. See? How do we forget the Outer Worlds?
Jesus, this is getting worse. It's getting oh my goodness.
And
I
man, and when they showed Outer Worlds, I was like,
oh my goodness.
what? I was like, because it's hey, man, Outer Worlds spoke to me in that way of looking at, you know, it kind of had like that look of BioShock, but also Fallout. And like I said, I'm not a big Fallout person, but I respect Fallout.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, if you can bring me in a way that Fallout never really did, yeah, let's go. Yeah, Outer Worlds, man.
Yeah. So I didn't mean to sidetrack you. I just wanted to throw that in.
No.
Talking about Anthem. Go ahead and finish your Anthem point. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying that, but you know, you look at, you know, what you want from these games is to make you feel like a badass. And you look at what Anthem is doing, it's like, we know we made the Iron Man joke, but it makes you feel like you could be a badass mech.
Yeah.
And doing, you know, so.
You know, it does kind of scratch that mech itch. We haven't had a mech game.
Right.
At all. It does kind of. It's not, you know, like Mech Warrior or any of that Mech Assault with the $3,000 controller, you know, Steel Battalion or anything like that. But it does kind of scratch that mech itch. You're right. I didn't even realize that right now. You just mentioned it. I didn't even realize that though.
Yeah. It's like mixing like that whole world of Iron Man and mechs, the mech suit type thing. So, and like I said, man, if they can deliver that BioWare flair that, you know, but kind of like take some of those mistakes that Destiny kind of made with their audience and not do those. Yeah. Yeah. They could have Destiny on their heels, man.
The biggest thing about looter shooters, and they've all suffered from this, from the Division to Destiny to other games as well, other looter shooters, is content is going to be the king to the game.
Absolutely.
If you don't have content, if you're not clear about the end game as well, Destiny suffered from not having much of a story at all, the first one especially. For the first year and a half, and then you finally got some DLC. You didn't really get the full game that was supposed to be from day one till you got the Taken King. Same thing with Destiny 2 as well, until you got not Forsaken, but the one prior to Forsaken. What was it? The one with the Eater of Worlds raid and everything. Either way,
largely forgettable because both of those DLCs were like, okay.
Yeah. So, but what I'm saying is that though these games thrive on content, you have to have content. You can't put people in this open world and say, go do all these different things and say, well, it's an open world, but it starts to feel limited because the space starts to feel smaller. You don't have as much to do. It gets repetitious. You're doing the same thing. The grind gets old. People love the grind. There's people that love that grind. But at a certain point, if you don't have fresh content, look what happened to Division. You know that, Fuzzy. You know what happened. You was a hardcore Division player, and what happened when they didn't have that content? And when they weren't
people left like within like the first month or so, or first couple of weeks. I mean, I stuck with it because the Dark Zone was fun at that point, and then it started to be too much of a grind where you're getting one-shotted by the NPCs the minute you go in the Dark Zone. So it was like, and then 1.4 kind of fixed things, but they lost a good bit of their audience, but they started coming back after 1.4, but I hope Massive and Ubisoft learn from that. So when Division 2 comes out in March, they don't make that mistake. I think if anything, looking at what Destiny did to its fans, I think the Division is learn from their own mistakes as well as from Destiny's mistakes, and I think that's going to be a tough one right off the bat. As far as for maybe some of the Destiny players that played Division as well or jump back and forth, I think that's going to have a nice draw for them as well, because they're getting rid of a lot of the stuff that people complained about, where you would just make a overpowered gear set and just be able to not die. You just take tons of shots, lean up against the car, bounce off the car, have your mobile cover, and just be invincible for however long you want to get rezzed up from one of your teammates. So it's just it's going to be a tough year. Like we talked about this earlier on about 2019 being the gaming the best gaming year ever, and we missed all those other titles earlier on talking about Mortal Kombat. And,
I'm sure we're missing
Shadows died twice.
Yep. I know we're missing something. I know we are.
Yeah, we're missing it. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Crazy. So, yeah, man, that was a good actually closing topic. We're gonna take one more question from the chat. Feeling real good right now. We're gonna take one question from the chat. So, chat, if you guys have a question you want to ask us here on the panel right now, go ahead and put it in the chat so we can go ahead and answer that. That's probably gonna be the last thing here. Or if anything Fuzz or UE maybe been talking about this week on Twitter or anything you guys want to cover, just kind of go ahead and wrap everything up. Otherwise, I'm gonna just wait for the chat here and see if we can go ahead and drop somebody or drop something in the chat. See what happens. So. But other than that, guys, make sure you guys hit the like button as well as you're here. Thank you guys for coming as well. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. If you're not new, make sure you share the video as well on Twitter or whatever social media application you use. You know what? I actually got a fun one. So I'm going to ask this specifically to oh, you know what? Shonsu just chimed in. Never mind. Shonsu, man, my mod here, Shonsu. He said in 2018, what third-party game made Game Pass legit? Good question. That was a really good question. What third-party game finally made? Because remember when Game Pass debuted, they said all these games are going to be it. The first thing people said, "Oh, those games are trash." You're gonna get like games with gold level stuff. That's all you're gonna get, and that has not been true as Game Pass has gone by. So, what do you guys think? What game for you, third-party game, did it for Game Pass? So like, I need to go ahead and. Was there a game that made you say, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm in on this Game Pass thing? It would probably be an older game, I would assume. It'd be something like.
For me, I already had Game Pass, but there was when you saw the Division go in there, even though it was a fairly old game, it got people at least interested in it before the announcement of Division 2. You also had Rise of the Tomb Raider, which was a good game. It was a little bit on the older side, but Onrush didn't have the best of launch, but it being a third-party game, it went in, I would say, within a short period of time. And I think it's one of those things where, with it coming into Game Pass within 3 months or 4 months of launch, it saved the game, and it showed that there's room in Game Pass for stuff like that, where it's like, okay, a game doesn't do as well as the publisher had hoped, they can kind of bounce back or rebound to some extent, or
help safety net for a developer or a publisher.
Exactly.
It's a win-win. Like even if my game doesn't hit, right off project, like you said, the numbers don't hit, where they're supposed to be as far as projections. I have a safety net. I'm gonna put it in Game Pass. It's gonna. So people don't. This is what people don't understand about Game Pass for us. It's not that Game Pass is the best value in console gaming. Period. It's not even close. There's nothing else like it anywhere else. Not even on PC. I don't think so. But the thing people don't get about Game Pass and why it's so valuable and why it's so important to Xbox is engagement. They don't care if you necessarily purchase the game when you go to Game Pass. They just want you to play it. Because once they get you in the ecosystem, which is Xbox Live and Game Pass, anything can happen. Once you're in the door, you may end up going to do other things based on what you see. If you see something you like, it's like a retail store. You walk in the door, they want to get you in the door.
Right.
They want to get once you're in the door, anything can happen. So that's what Game Pass is. On top of it, it's just a no-brainer. As far as would it finish? My bad, I cut you off here.
No, it's fine. No, but there's just so many third-party games that I enjoy that are in there now. Like I'm looking at the list, and I have everything filtered to Xbox One X enhanced. You got Doom in there right now. You have Hardblade now is going to be a first party, but technically it's kind of in there as a third party, I guess, for right now until no.
Hellblade in there is absolutely a legit game that makes it go. Yep, see, I think Doom and Hellblade. You name both of those.
Yep.
Yeah. But it's the overall value keeps on getting better and better, and we had things like what was it, Vermintide that went in day and date.
Yeah.
You got Strange Brigade, which is fairly new, and it's in there now. You got Sniper Elite, which I think
Year Zero,
about a year old.
Yep, Year Zero. Yep.
Yeah, it's like there's just so
which
many.
I gotta play. Add it to the list. I'm telling you, man.
So did you? Okay, go ahead. No, you go first. Go ahead.
No, there's just so many games in there that are. Game Pass is probably the best thing that Microsoft has done in like the past couple of years, and then closely followed by the Xbox One X. But if they could, I think if they can get more third parties on board with either releasing day and date, or even if it's a limited time. Like I joked about this on Twitter, after or just before E3, when they were talking about, it looks like Shadow might be in Game Pass, or and everybody found out it was more so them saying, "Oh, Rise is in Game Pass and Shadow's coming out." But can you imagine if Shadow was in Game Pass for like, let's say 3 days or 7 days, just to kind of get you to try it? You might get like maybe $5 or 5% off or something like that if you buy it while you're trying it out. And then it comes back, let's say 6 months later into Game Pass, or maybe a year later into Game Pass. It would bring more attention to Game Pass and bring more attention to that game, because people are going to be like, "Oh, I thought they were only putting trash games in there. Try it out," and then realize that it's like, "Oh wow, this is actually a good game." And then, "Oh, I only got 3 days to finish this thing," and nobody's going, well, unless they stay up for 72 hours straight, but they're not going to finish it in that amount of time. But they'll get enough of a taste that they'll want to go ahead and buy the game to finish it off and stuff. So I think there's still more to come, but right now, Hellblade, Doom, Strange Brigade, Onrush, those are the main things that kind of.
Yeah, I was going to say Onrush is another one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, can you imagine if we had like something like Game Pass, like in high school and college?
Oh man, to tell me, my mom loved it. My mom be like, "I only got to pay $10 and you get how many games? What?
Right.
Get out of here." She'd never buy me a retail game ever.
Nah.
She'd never buy me an actual game at an actual store. So no, that's amazing. Game Pass is so obviously like one of the best things Xbox I think is ever done. I think it's they caught a waiver. They did something that I don't even think Sony saw coming. I don't even think Nintendo saw coming as well. They provided something that it's going to be very, very tough to duplicate. And if they are able to duplicate it, it's going to look kind of odd if Sony does it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But it's amazing. And that was a great question. Shout out to Shonsu for that. He said that this is kind of answer your question or your point, Fuzz. He said was a Division 1 for me. He wasn't interested in it, but tried it, and 300 hours later he can't wait for part 2.
Nice.
So Game Pass helped him out as far as him playing it. He wasn't interested in it at all. So that's the power of Game Pass. So I think we go ahead and end the show on that note, guys. So it was a great episode today. Thank you guys for all coming out. I'm gonna let my two friends here go ahead and give themselves outros. We're gonna go ahead and start with the guest of the hour. I just want to say before you say anything, E, I appreciate you coming on, taking a little bit of time here on your Saturday. I know you got a family, you work and other things to do. So thank you for hanging out with us, man. But let everybody know here where they can find you at.
Oh yeah, let me first say, man, again, it's been an honor being on with you guys. Appreciate the invite. I never take that lightly, man. When people ask me if to come on their podcast, it's always an honor. It's been a great time, like chopping it up with you guys. So again, thank you both guys. But yeah, Wednesday nights, 9:00, Brat Podcast. Like I said, with Enrique, Slow Mo, B Money, and Gaming Forte. Yeah, just come by there, man. Again, it's just like here, we chop it up, we goof, we joke, but we try to keep it about gaming. It's not really about goofing. Well, I should say goofing, but it's not really about console warring. We just try to talk about everything in the grand scheme of things, so, and I forgot to also shout out my other podcast brothers on Saturday nights, Gaming Perspective, with Undead 3XVI, Sam Tolbert, and Jared Rage Virus. We go.
Yeah, shout out to them too. I've actually been talking to Undead, so you may see him here pretty soon.
Nice, so, man. Good guys, man.
Shout out to you guys too. Gamer Perspective. I'll make sure I put all that information down in the description below, guys. Please, if you follow me or subscribe to me, go follow those two podcasts as well. They do a great show. I've seen both. Enrique is awesome. Big shout out to him, man. Enrique, one of the most underrated guys in the actual community. He does a lot for a lot of people. He's always been a straight up guy, straight shooter, knowledgeable gamer. He doesn't really have a preference. He likes everything. So amazing guy. Shout out to Enrique, everybody there. Forte is on here too as well from time to time. So shout out to Forte and everybody else on the Basement Radio Arcade podcast, man. So you guys
good guys, man. All good guys.
Oh
good gamers, good perspectives. So yeah, definitely give those guys follows.
Absolutely. And you, Fuzz, we got you out the cave today, man. Got you out of high. Let everybody know where they can find you. That's not in the pillow and blanket aisle of Walmart.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Fuzzy_Belvedere or on Xbox Live, Fuzzy Space Belvedere, or PSN Fuzzy_Belvedere. Usually playing Forza, but lately Assassin's Creed. It's been excellent talking games with you guys.
Sorry, my throat. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he definitely pointed me in the good direction with that game. But yeah, it's shout out to him. Hope he's having fun at dinner and whatnot. And shout out to everybody in the chat. Hope you guys had a wonderful holiday and have a happy new year. And man, awesome show today, guys. Awesome show.
Amazing. And last but not least, the host with the most, PTK BLAM. You guys can find me everywhere. PTK BLAM, essentially Twitter, on Xbox Live. If you want to play games with me, hit me up there as well. Thank you guys for the support on the show, man. This has been so amazing. I restarted. I hit like the reset button in June and started the show, and it's been amazing. 2018, this last half has been a great year on here on YouTube and Twitter as well. Thank you guys for the support. I want to make sure I shout out my compadres here on the Shop Podcast because we talk all throughout the week. These guys are like brothers to me. I appreciate them. I love them, essentially. So shout out to you, Fuzz. Great guy, man. You've been rocking out with me for a while now. Appreciate you, man. We got a lot more to do in 2019. So I appreciate you always being consistent, kind of like The Rock here on the podcast. I appreciate it. Shout out to Zalker as well, the Wonder Boy, guys. Man, I'm glad I got to. I'm glad I got to Zalker before he started charging people to come on the podcast. So shout out to Zalker, man. He's an amazing, knowledgeable, up and coming YouTuber as well. And a shout out to you. You guys don't see him very often, but Jarhead, man. He's kind of the soul behind the podcast. He's a fiery guy, man. He's always the one, defending, and he's our when we want to bring out the big guns, we let Jarhead loose. He's an awesome guy too. So appreciate him. Appreciate everybody watching. Subscribe to the channel, man. We got a lot more to do in 2019. Thank you guys for showing up. Everybody have a great weekend. We're out of here. Peace out.
Peace.